Hey guys, it's SRC Reptiles, and I know I haven't made a video in like a super duper long time, but I wanted to make a little video to show you my fish tank. And this is currently a 20 gallon, but I am hoping to be getting a like 40 gallon from a friend of mine here really soon. And it has a stand so it won't be on the floor. I'm really hoping that it works out because I would love to get this tank up off the floor. Now I do have a stand in mind that I want to buy off of Amazon. It's on sale for like $100 right now, but I can't buy it currently because I have to wait till I get paid. So, if it's still on sale, otherwise it's like $110. Really not a huge discount, but for now I'll show you guys. So, I've got a platy in here. She's my remaining platy that I got from Petco. Excuse me. So, at first I started out with 4 platies way back last year. And this female back here, she's one of the ones that ended up surviving. Back then when I first started, I probably did not have stuff correct. I'm just going to say that right now. And the others, well, I will say one of the males, I'm pretty sure died from the turtle, because at one point, these fish were in with my turtle when she was younger, because I got them pretty much for her entertainment, and then I ended up falling in love with the platies, and I'm like, nope, I've got to buy a fish tank for these platies so I can get them into a different tank, because I actually really enjoy having fish. And, of course, one platy turned into way more platies. And throughout the year, some of the babies would not end up making it because I still was trying to get my shit together and figuring out how to keep fish. Because it had been many, many, many years since I've had a fish tank. It's just been reptiles. So I will say I think I've hit the good spot now. But this tank's been going for quite a while. I have sponge filters. I'll just kind of show you. So a friend of mine that keeps fish, he told me just buy a sponge. This will hold all the good bacteria. All you gotta do is just take it out of the water, put it into a pitcher, wring it out several times and get it good and wringed out, but not like completely rinsing it because that good bacteria is going to be in the sponge here. And then just stick it back. Now what he was saying to do is to use some of like the quilt lining in front of the sponge, but I've just stuck 2 sponges in here because that quilt lining falls apart and makes quite a mess, and I was getting really tired of having to deal with it, so I just did double sponge, so it kind of has that filtration in the back and then that filtration in the front. Even though this quilt sponge or the quilt liner is supposed to be a little bit finer, it's just a pain in the butt, to say it nicely, to have to try to clean it out of there because it sticks to the sponge and like starts to fall apart and stuff. And that's after like a month, I want to say, of it being in there. So right now we've got the one female platy, and then we have 9 or 10 babies, because I swear I counted 10 the other day. And what's interesting is she hasn't been with a male for a while, so apparently she retained sperm or something like that and has just been popping out these babies. Now, I will say it's probably been about 2 months since she had any, so I think she's done. But we've got 9 or 10 platy babies in here. Now, they are a mix because there was 2 that were red tiger platies, and then there were, or like ruby tiger, something like that. And then the other 2 were like red Dalmatians. So what's really interesting is some of the babies in here are completely black and white, like this one here, where it's mainly just Dalmatian spots, where others look like the dad, where they're orange with tiger spots. And then I swear there's one in here somewhere. I'm not seeing it right now. But one of them, it could potentially be this one here. Looks like it, one of these 2 here. Looks like they're trying to develop the stripes. So I am curious to see if any of the babies are showing any Dalmatian spots with the ruby stripes. Now, some people, when I read online, were saying that when you crossbreed different morphs, so to speak... Oh, wait, I think it might be this one down here. This one down here kind of looks like he's got stripes starting to form on the body here. Not coloration, but the stripes. Either way, it's really cool, though, to see that some of them are all the way black and white, and some are like this one where it's a mixture of the orange and the black. And then there's some that are like mainly black with like an orange top fin, like this one here. He's got orange mixed in with the black on that top fin there, which my phone just does not want to focus. And then some of them are mainly all orange, like this guy down here. Now one I have, this one here, he only has the tiniest black stripe on his hind or his like rear fin, and the rest of him is clear. So I'm really curious to see what happens with that one. Like, it's really cool, the different patterns and stuff. But a lot of people were saying with, not Corydoras, sorry, the Cory cats are very distracting. With the platies, that sometimes if you breed two different colorations, sometimes the babies will turn out to be infertile, or they'll just be mutts and they'll just be a mix, but they won't pass that genetic stuff onto their babies if they have any. So I'm really curious to see, once these guys get bigger and if they do happen to start breeding, what their babies are going to look like. I'm sure that it's not the best to let siblings inbreed, but right now, until I have another fish tank, the boys are not going to be separated from the females. Now, of course, if I get this tank from my friend, and I'm able to differentiate the males from the females, because sometimes they just all of a sudden, boom, they're a boy. They're really good at hiding it, and at that point, usually they're old enough to start making babies once they start showing. So if I'm able to separate them by then, because I really don't want a crap load more babies. I want to get some more variety in my tank for my like community tank kind of thing I want to do in the future. So right now we've got, aside from the platies, we have a juvenile betta in here, and I'm sure you've seen her swimming around. Her name is Mango, and I bought her at Petco, and she looks like she might potentially be a clown tail. Where did she end up going? I bought this for her to use because I was curious if she would use it to rest, and currently, oh, there she is. Currently, she just really likes this plant here in the corner for resting. She's not really used this yet, but the snails really like it. So here she is over here. And I only suspect she's a juvenile because she still has the lateral stripes going down her body. And I'm pretty sure only juveniles usually have that. Now, I could be wrong, and she might be more or less adult-sized, and she's just going to keep those stripes. But I'm pretty sure most that I've seen anyway only have stripes when they're young. So I guess we'll find out. Right now, she's kind of on the medium size. She's not huge and she's not tiny. My platy is huge compared to her, and my 3 false Julie Cory cats are also larger than her. And then we've got these 3 albino ones in here. So how that started out is I had 4 of the false Julies, and I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but if I am, then I'm shocked. But anyway, I bought 4 of these guys from PetSmart, and they're absolutely adorable. I love them so much. They are probably my favorite fish in here aside from the betta. I obviously really like the betta. Now, I do like the platies, don't get me wrong, but these guys are like so unique in the way they behave. And like I said, it started out with 4 of these guys. Well, then 1 passed away probably from stress, because what I ended up doing is I emptied this entire tank, moved them onto a stand that I have behind me that was supposed to be for a 20-gallon. And the stand almost immediately started bowing, so then I had to empty the tank again, take these guys back out, put them back in the bucket. So I was moving them around a whole lot, and I'm not surprised that I lost a fish from that, because the stress of them moving twice in the same day, apparently, like, completely stressed them out, which I tried to keep it as stress-free as possible, and luckily all the other fish survived, but I don't know if that one was potentially sickly, or if it was just, like I said, the stress. But I obviously did not want only 3, because you're supposed to have at least 4, or at least from what I've read. And obviously these are schooling fish, and they do better in large groups because they feel more safe. So I went to both Petco and PetSmart, because that's the only fish stores around, and they only had like this emerald green Corydoras. It was very ugly. I did not care for it. I'm sure some people really liked them, but it was just very plain catfish looking type of fish, but obviously Corydoras looking. And I was not a fan of that, so I ended up going to Petco after I went to PetSmart, because that's where those were. Petco also had the same, but then they had one single albino one that I could see. So I go to the lady and I tell her I want to get the albino one. She gets in there and ends up finding 3 of them, so she catches me one, and she's like, "Do you really want to leave the other 2 in there by themselves?" And I'm like, "Fine, just give me the other 2. So now we have 6 Corydoras when I was only really wanting 4. Because this is a 20-gallon tall, so it's not like it's the largest tank out there, and there's already enough fish in here. There's already plenty, more than there needs to be in this tiny little tank. So I try to keep it as full as possible, and I've got a whole crap load of different heights of stuff and hiding places for the babies and the Corydoras and the female platy, because sometimes she gets really stressed whenever I have company over, so she really likes to hide. I also figured out recently why the Corydoras like swim to the top And I've noticed it's only really the albino ones, but apparently I guess they can breathe in air. And I find that super curious because I've got a bubbler going back there. Now I was reading that either the water quality could be questionable or that there's not enough oxygen in the water. I did just do like a 80% water change, but I took some of the old water and of course I left the filters as was so they could keep that good bacteria in the water. I'm just keeping an eye on everybody and making sure that everyone is behaving as they should, not like sickly. I also read apparently that they can do that when they're excited. They can like dart to the top, but I'm pretty sure that they're breathing in a little bit of air. And apparently when they blink, it kind of moves that oxygen like throughout, I can't remember what it was. Let's just say throughout their body because I don't remember the technical thing I read. But they're really interesting and they're intriguing to me, and I really hope this larger tank works out because I'd love to have all these guys in a way bigger tank because obviously once these baby platies start getting bigger, I have a 20-gallon out in my living room. And some of them are going to have to be going into that one, I think, if they all ended up surviving to adulthood, which obviously I really hope, because I want to see what they look like as adults. But, yeah, so that's pretty much the fish tank. Also, every single one of these decorations in here, except for that big one there in the back that's the really long one that stretches across, all these came from Temu. And the tank before, I'll put a picture in here, but the tank looks like garbage. I had just random decorations I threw in there, mainly because I was trying to cater to the baby platies, and I wanted a lot of places for them to hide. And obviously these plants in here offer plenty of space, so if, you know, let's say the corridors had babies or something, which is possible, but it's not very common because, which I'm sure if you have the tank set up perfectly, they will reproduce quite a bit. But I guess the parents are really bad about eating eggs, but also eating the babies. So I'm not sure if they've ever tried to breed or not, or if I even have males in here, or if I only have males and not females. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I completely completely redecorated the entire tank, and I'm still deciding whether or not I like this plant being here in the center, but I feel like if it wasn't there, it'd be too sparse. So I'm leaving it for now. But I'm very satisfied with how the tank turned out. It's very pleasing to the eye, and it's super pretty when the blue light turns on with this light I've got up here. It does blue light for about 30 minutes before it goes completely dark. And I'll tell you the types of snails I have in here. So I've got ram's horns, which the interesting thing is all the ram's horns in here are either leopard spotted or they're just a plain color, as where I have 4 or 5 albino ram's horns that are like completely pink, like the body of them, like the fleshy part, the snail part, and then their shell is either like a white or it's see-through. It's so bizarre because I don't have any albino ones in here that I'm aware of, and I don't know what the conditions are for them to be producing albino in the other fish tank and not in this one, but it's super cool. But I also have Malaysian trumpet snails, so you can actually see one of them peeking out of the soil right here, and it actually looks like it's moving around. We've got one down here, we've got a few there, a few right here. They're really cool, and they keep the gravel clean, as where the ram's horns more or less clean the rest of the tank. Now, I do see a trumpet snail back there on that wall. Actually, several babies on the back wall back there. And then the 2 new additions. Oh, I do have a nearite snail in here somewhere. Not really sure where he is. But my other new additions I have are these 2 rabbit snails. And they're super cool. They are very slow moving, though, so they don't really move around a whole lot. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I've showed you enough of the fish tank. I will take a picture of the other fish tank and some of the snails to add in here. But I just realized that this video is already almost 15 minutes long. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of a little update of how my fish tank is doing, even though I don't think I made a whole lot of fish videos in the past anyways. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day.